Good boy, Tucker.
Welcome, everybody.
Welcome.
Hey.
Welcome.
Work smarter where you want.
Consistency is key.
And remember, if it's not in Redtail, it never happened.
This is learning at its most fun.
Hello, everybody, and thank you for joining us for another Thursday webinar. My name is Curtis, and I'm one of the trainers here at Redtail. I'm really excited to be bringing you our topic today of searching made simple. This topic actually was specifically pulled out of a current training series that we're doing called Victory in a Virtual World. We've done it twice already. It's again next. It's going to be happening next week, but it's a 2-day training event that we've been putting on. It's absolutely free. For anybody who does want to join, you can access that through our Redtail help desk, how to register for that. I believe there is still space available. But we love this section so much that we wanted to pull it apart and actually have it be its own standalone training. So Searching Made Simple is going to be focusing on the advanced search tool in Redtail. And I just want to give some really good tips and tricks about how you can make sure and set up your database so you can easily use the search tool to find the contact records that you're looking for. So as we start, what I first want to talk about is, let me actually click over here. I want to first give a little English lesson. Now, I am not an English major by any means, but I want to talk about the order of adjectives. And so if you don't know, there's an order of adjectives when we describe something. And there's a specific order. And you'll see on the left-hand side, you always say things in quantity, quality, size, age, shape, color, proper adjective, and then purpose or qualifier. It's not something that we actually do. It's an instinct. We don't actually think, how do I say this in the proper way? It automatically comes to us very naturally. And when you put adjectives in a different order, it sounds odd sometimes. It doesn't mean that the sentence is wrong. It just sounds wrong, even though it's correct. And just as a quick example of what the order of adjectives is about, I'm asking a question is, how do we describe the puppies? And I've written out 2 ways, and this is very simple, and we're only using 3 adjectives. Is it either the 4 cute large puppies or the large cute 4 puppies? You'll see the first one sounds right. The second one technically is still correct, but it doesn't sound correct. If I say the large cute 4 puppies, something sounds off. It's not a wrong sentence, but it just doesn't sound right. And the reason being is because of the order of adjectives. So quickly, if I do this, it's either the 4, cute, large is the correct order. You'll see it goes quantity, quality, and then size. And it goes in that specific order, where the second sentence goes size, quality, quantity. It's the opposite and just doesn't sound right. And I like to point that out because there's really an order to your searching as well. All right, so when we look at the order of searchable fields, we talk about thinking of searching like a funnel. You're going to start high level and then narrow it down to more specific fields. So normally you're going to start with contact status up at the top, narrow it down to contact category, then other keywords or other specific fields to narrow down your searching to find the exact group of contact records you're looking for. Okay, so it doesn't necessarily matter if you set it up category then status or status then category, but when you're looking and thinking about how you want to search, doing it high level and then more specific just makes it easier to understand. And so that's really why I like to compare it to the order of adjectives. Is it's not wrong. It just, there's an easier way to understand it if you go in a certain order. Okay, so searching, that's the biggest tip I can really give you, is searching should always be done in high level, then narrowed down to more specific fields. It just gives it an easier time to control. Now with that, there's a few common searches that I want to cover. You'll see over on the right-hand side, we have status and category, where we're looking for our active and AAA clients. So you can actually easily pull up, based on just status and category fields, any contact record who has a status of active client and a category of AAA. Now keep in mind, the values that I have in status and category Most likely are going to be different than what you have in your database. Those are, again, customizable fields. So I can have just a status of active or a status of client, or like I have active client as the full status name. Category is going to be a detailed level. I use A, AA, and AAA, but maybe you use something like gold, silver, platinum, A, B, C, D. The point is, no matter how you have your database customized, you can narrow it down to any contact who has a specific status and a specific category. In the purple box below that, I'm narrowing it down to any contact who has a status of active and has a date of birth in October. Okay, so you can narrow it down to find a group of contacts who are active, who have birthdays in any specific month that you're looking for. And the reason we have that ability is we have an option to hit and. So when you create your searches, you can choose one layer of criteria, then hit and that's what narrows down the funnel. So every time you hit and, it's going to narrow down your results. Let's actually run these two searches in the database so we can see how those look. So I'm going to swipe over to the CRM. And to run a search, I'm going to go to contacts on the left-hand side. And then I'm going to click up on advanced search up at the top. Once you're on advanced search, you have the type, field, operand, and value. And these are the boxes I'm going to fill out to create the parameters of my search. So if I swing back over here, the top one says contact status equal to active. And then I also have contact category equal to AAA. So over here, back in the CRM, my type is going to be contact. The field is going to be status. I'm going to choose the operand will be equal to, and then it gives me, here's the available statuses I have in my database. I'm going to choose active client. Now, I could just hit run, but that's just a one layer search. I want to narrow down my funnel, so I'm going to hit and on the right-hand side. Once you hit and, you'll see I have a new line. And I can do the same thing where I choose contact. This time, the field will be category. Operand is going to also be equal to, and then I can choose AAA. Now, again, if you use something like A, B, C, D, gold, silver, platinum, maybe even if you use numbers, you're going to choose that specific category. But keep in mind, this is about starting high level, then narrowing it down to a more detailed or specific field. And I can hit run, and it automatically brings up all of my active AAA clients. What's great about running searches is, I'm not going to get too deep into this, but you have the ability to select one or multiple, I can even select all contact records, and then use my contact options on the right-hand side to run reports, exports, or even do a variety of bulk actions. So if you ever find yourself saying that I need to do something with a group of contacts, I need to make a change, I need to run a report, I need to get a list of something about all of these contact records, you want to get them to the search page. It just gives you a lot of opportunity to do something in bulk. But again, you need to understand how to search for them first before you can do those actions. Now, again, we just easily pulled up all active AAA clients. If I come back over to the slide, the other search we had was status equal to active and date of birth month equal to October. We'll actually update that since we're in November now. But I'm going to actually scroll back over to the CRM. And what I'm going to do, I'm just going to refresh this page so we start from scratch. And again, starting high level, I can choose contact. The field will be status. My operand is going to be equal to, again, I'm going to choose active client. Then I'm going to hit and. Now my type is still going to be contact. This time the field will be contact DOB month. So right here, you'll see I have date of birth, a specific date I can search on, the month, or even I can search on a specific year that the contact was born. I'm really only looking for anybody who has a birthday in a specific month, so I'm going to narrow it down to date of birth month. And I can say equal to, then my value shows all of the months of the year. Now, we're already into November, so let me pull up the December birthdays. I'm going to hit run, and now I have, here's 12 active clients who have birthdays in December. So easy enough, I can use my searching to narrow down and find the contact records that I need to based off of very specific fields. Now, coming back over to the slides, we also have the ability to use OR. Now, or is like opening up your search criteria and allows you to narrow down the search results by a specific value for each field. Or is what's going to add additional values for repeating fields. What I mean by that is we're going to look over to the right and we have two blue boxes. We have the first one, which is using a variety of ands. So keep in mind how my graphics are set up. If they're all in one box, it's going to be and between all three of those fields. Then I have an or, and then another list with different ands. We are going to build out this search, but what I'm looking for is all of my active triple and double A clients who get the keyword of, who have the keyword of newsletter. So maybe I only send out my newsletter to active double and triple A clients. Maybe I don't send them out to single A clients, so I want to narrow it down. The reason I'm using or is because I have one field that is different. You'll see here I have contact category in the middle is equal to AAA, but down here the contact category is equal to AA. The reason I have to hit or is because if I were to add it as an and, if I hit contact category equal to AAA and contact category equal to AA, it'll actually give me no contacts in that search because one contact can only have one value for category. Same thing goes for status. So if I were to do contact category equal to AAA and equal to AA, that is an impossible search because one person cannot be both of those values. That's why I want to use or. It's going to open up the ability. It's essentially creating a second funnel. So in that earlier graphic where it showed the funnel, think of this is the first funnel and or is saying we're adding the addition of another funnel. So I get the value of funnel 1 plus the value of funnel 2 that equals all of my active and AAA, double and AAA newsletter clients. So we're going to take this. I'm going to come back over to the CRM. We're going to hit refresh. We're going to just click on advanced search to refresh this page. And we are going to create those two funnels. So again, starting at the top of type is going to be contact. Field will be status. I'm going to say equal to active client and then hit and. We're narrowing down our funnel. I'm going to choose contact category this time. We're going to say equal to, we'll start with AAA. I'm going to hit and one more time because I only want to send it to the people who have the keyword of newsletter. So here I can choose contact keywords. The field only has one option of keyword equal to. And then I actually have this actually in this database says mailing dash newsletter is the keyword I'm looking for. Now, this is one funnel. If I run this search, it's only showing me active AAA clients who get a newsletter of mailing. If I come up here and hit or, it's creating the next funnel. What I don't want to do is only come here and choose contact category equal to AA. The reason I don't want to do that is, again, I'm getting the value of funnel 1 plus the value of funnel 2 right here. So if I were to run this search, it's showing all active AAA clients who get a newsletter and every single AA client. And I don't want that. I want to be very specific. So again, in this next funnel, I'm actually going to choose status again. We're going to say equal to active. And then I hit and on that level. I'm going to choose contact. And we'll say category. This time I'm changing it to AA. I'm going to hit and one more time and then add the addition of that keyword field. And again, this gives me very specific results of again, a new funnel. So we'll choose mailing newsletter. And again, I'm going to hit active AAA newsletter client with the addition of active AA newsletter clients and run that search. And it opens up the criteria. So again, I get the value of both of those funnels. And now I can do a bulk action with all of these clients. I can easily send them out the newsletter right from here. All right, now that was a lot of drop downs to pick from. So on top of that, I really like to suggest saving your searches as quick lists. So as you continue to create different searches, so for instance, if maybe this search is something I run once a month or even like once a quarter, I don't want to remember which fields and everything I have to choose. So after you create a search that is really useful, you can create what we call a quick list. A quick list is a saved search. It's saving the parameters, not the actual contacts that show up in the search. So the benefit of that is as my contacts change data, like maybe they're no longer an active client or no longer want the newsletter, they will fall on and off this quick list. So I have the most accurate information at that time. So back over here, I'm going to save this newsletter list and I'm going to hit save right here. So after I hit run, I'm then going to hit save and it's saving the parameters. You can name this however you want. So I'm going to say, we'll say all active AAA and AA newsletter clients. You can name this however you want. The goal is I just need to know what this is for. I'm being very wordy up here. If I just want to put newsletter, that's all you have to do. So, you know, I only send the newsletter to these people, but if I want to be very specific, I can add that and I'm going to hit save. Now that we've saved it, I'm going to navigate away from the search page. And let's say it's time to run the newsletter list. What I'm going to do to run a quick list is come up here to the top right-hand corner where I have the recently viewed little person with his hands in the air, and I can choose quick lists. Once you choose quick lists, then you find your actual newsletter list. I have right here, all active AAA and AA newsletter clients. That's the one I just saved. If I click on it, it automatically runs, and then I have all of those contacts. Now, again, what's great about quick lists is quick lists change as your data changes. So let's actually we're going to pick on John Arnold right here. He's the very top person in this list. Let's say that he reached out. He's an active AA client and he doesn't want the newsletter anymore. That's definitely okay. All we're going to do is go to his contact record, go to his keywords, and we're going to find mailing newsletter and we're going to remove that keyword. Now the keyword is no longer on his database. So the next time, if I go to my recently viewed, look at my quick list and run the active AAA and AA newsletter quick list, I'm now going to see that I have 74 people and John is no longer on that list. So again, quick lists change as your data changes. So anytime that you have a list that you run on a regular basis, make sure and save it. Now, keep in mind, when you save a quick list, it's available for everybody in your database. So I do highly suggest that you keep them limited because you'll even see that this database has quite a few. A lot of them actually seem to be repeating. I have a lot of different things here. It's just easier if you keep them organized. Again, even if I have like my birthdays, I can click on birthdays and it shows this quick list of here's everybody who's an active client who has a birthday in November and has a birthday reminder turned on. So here's the 13 people I want to send something out to, but this is just November. You'll notice that this quick list, when I ran it, if I go to quick list again, was only called birthdays. It wasn't called November birthdays. The reason I did that is I don't want to create 12 different quick lists, one for each month of the year. I just create one that says, any month. And then when I need to run December, I just change the dropdown and rerun it. So that way I don't have to have 12 different quick lists. I just have one that I can easily change the data for. One last thing I love to point out, so this is a new thing. We normally don't talk about uncommon searches, and that's because they're really not common. It's hard to think about them and add them up. But here's 5 different uncommon searches that I really like to point out that might give you just ideas of what else you can use searching for. So in that case, we're going to start up in the top with the blue. I have the ability to search for contact status. This should say contact. So contact status equal to active client and family head of household equal to true. What this is going to show me is every single contact record who's active and is marked as the head of household. Because in Redtail, you can have a status of active and maybe you're a spouse or a dependent of another person. And if I only want to see the household records and not just every active client, I can run a search for that. So hitting advanced search up at the top, I can come up and choose contact status. We'll say equal to active. And then we're going to hit and then right from here, I'm going to choose family. And then the field is going to be head of household. And from that, I can say equal to, and then say true. Again, this is showing me every single active client who's marked as a head of household. So maybe I have like over 200 active clients, but this tells me I only have 178 households. So again, if I want to narrow it down to just the households, I can do that by using my searching. So it's only showing me the head of household records. I'm not going to see spouses or dependents who also happen to be an active client. If I come back over to my next option, and the purple on the left-hand side here, we have contact type equal to individual. So that's actually a higher level than status. We have the type field, and this is also going to be family name is empty. The reason we have that search is this is how I can find any individual contact record who is not part of a family. So we always suggest that if you have an active client who's just an individual person, you should still mark them as a head of household. So that way they appear in our first search up here as a household account, even if they're single. So this search right here in purple allows me to find who are the people who are not attached to a family, because I want to create those family structures. So maybe I created a contact, never attach them to the proper family. This list will actually show me who I need to look at. So back over to the CRM, we're going to refresh our advanced search page. And this one, we're going to do contact, we're going to do type. The reason I'm not doing status is because maybe they're not active clients. Maybe I don't have them. I just want to see any individual person who is not attached to a family. So I can say equal to individual, and what we put here, we did family name is empty, easy enough. So this one's going to be family, and I'm going to choose name. And then in the operator, I'm just going to choose is empty. And I can run that search. And easy enough, here's 179 individual people who are not part of a family. They're not part of a household. So this gives me a list to actually work through and say, okay, I need to set up the households of all of these people. Now that is empty operand is really great because it's useful for finding missing information all throughout the database. So even if I wanted to find anybody who's missing like a tax ID number, I can also do something easy enough of choosing tax ID is empty. And here's now a list of all individual contact records who do not have a tax ID number in their database. That is empty field is really great and useful, again, for finding where are the holes in the data. So I make sure to have as much or the best data I possibly could. All right, let's look at the next uncommon search. We're gonna look over here in the green on the right-hand side. We have contact status equal to inactive client and contact termination date greater than or equal to January 1st, 2020. What this is showing me, I love this, is if I'm using a status of something like inactive and filling out the field of client termination date, I can easily find how many clients left my firm this year and who are they. So again, this is contact status equal to inactive, and then contact client termination date greater than or equal to the beginning of this year. So back over to the CRM, we're going to refresh again. And so we'll start with contact status. This search, again, I'm not looking for active clients this time. I'm looking for people who are no longer clients. So that's why I'm choosing inactive. And then I hit and on the right-hand side. And then I'm going to choose contact, client termination date, and I'm going to say greater than or equal to, and we're going to put January 1st, 2020 and run that search. So right away I can see I have two people who left the firm this year, Automatic and then George McFly. Both of them left. They're marked as inactive clients. What's important to note here is I need to make sure I'm filling out those fields in order for this to be useful. So if I go into George's record, I can see that he's an inactive client. He was AAA before. And if I edit this box, you'll see right here, client termination date. He left in March. He left March 10th, 2020. So if you are using inactive status, you want to make sure that you're also filling out this client termination date so you can run searches to find when did they leave and see how many people are leaving versus how many people are coming in. All right, so next search I want to talk about is in the red on the bottom left. This one is almost the inverse. So we're going to maybe celebrate our clients based on how long they've been clients of ours. So in this case, I have contact status equal to active client, and then contact client since year equal to, and then whatever specific year I'm looking for. So for that reason, I'm going to go back over to the CRM. We're actually going to look at George here real fast. I'm going to edit the box. We're using 2 fields in that search. The first one is contact status. So I need to make sure that I'm narrowing down by the status, and then also the client since year. So if you're not filling out this client since date, then it's not going to be used. You can't search on it. So let's go ahead and choose contacts on the left-hand side. Make sure you're on advanced search. And I want to celebrate everybody who's been a client for 5 years. Okay, so I'm going to search for anybody who became a client in 2015. So I'm going to start contact status. It's going to be equal to active client. And now I'm going to choose contact and then client since year. And I can say equal to, and I'm just going to put in 2015. So I can run that search, and here's 13 clients. They have been clients for 5 years. I can maybe, if I use broadcast email or send a letter saying, hey, congratulations on 5 years of being a client. Once I do that list, I can maybe do, okay, let's do it for the past 10 years. Who's been a client for 10 years? I have 4 people who have been clients for 10 years because I'm searching for active clients who have the client since date of 2010. Now, keep in mind, like if you're not filling out the specific contact details, so if I edit this box, if I am not filling out client since, then it's not going to be usable for me. All right, let's look at the last uncommon search. So over on the right-hand side, this one is about retirement year. So maybe I want to look up for who's planning to retire next year. And this is specifically in the employment field. So for that, the employment field exists if I come over to Know Your Client on the left-hand side. And then if I come over to, actually in a miscellaneous client info. Oh, sorry, not miscellaneous client info. It's going to be professional. I clicked on the wrong one. So when you click on professional, so Know Your Client, then professional, we have employments right here. And if you add into this the occupation, you can actually fill out a retirement date. So when they're planning to retire, you can fill that out and then make it usable in your searching. So if I come back to contacts on the left-hand side, click on advanced search up at the top, I want to find anybody who's an active client. So contact status is going to be equal to active client. And then I'm going to look at employment, looking at that specific area. We're going to say retirement year equal to, and let's put for next year, so 2021. Who's planning to retire next year? Run that search. I have one contact, one active client who's planning to retire next year, and I can easily find that because of the data I've set up in the CRM. I have it filled out and I can use that. So again, keep in mind, you have the ability to create so many different possibilities for your searches, but it only works if you're filling out the information and staying consistent. So again, you want to think about what do you want to look for, and then make sure those fields are going to be filled out for your clients.
Thanks so much for joining us today for this particular session. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to give us a call at 800-206-5030, option 3 for support, or just shoot us an email over to support@redtailtechnology.com. Thanks a lot and have a great day.